Welcome back to Batman. We're still infiltrating Penguin's big-ass ship. For such a tiny man, he has
Way
a very
bigger
big
on the
ship.
inside.
Do you think Penguin could possibly be compensating for something? Nah.
He hangs out with Lord Far. He hangs out
Yeah,
with
it's
Lord
lack of an
Farquaad, so
proper eyeglass prescription.
So, okay, what was Penguin's deal again?
He's an asshole?
I mean, I know
in regards to this game specifically, or
just as a general character, I'm not sure how accurate his
he's just a mob boss.
I'm not sure how accurate his Batman Returns stuff was. Like, did they make that shit up?
It's completely
It wasn't accurate at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, around that time, a lot of the adaptation stuff was making stuff up to fill in blanks for rather flat characters. So
Pre-Batman Returns in the animated series, he was just a mob boss who wore a fancy tuxedo.
yeah.
You
He
know
was a
what?
short round man who wore a tuxedo. That was it.
So, you know what? John's bringing up that he needs proper glasses, but I'm just imagining a Batman who solves these villain problems by giving them gifts. Like,
Give them exactly what they need.
yeah, it's just like
so
he
it's
gives
like the ending
Poison
of
Ivy
it's like the ending of
Mad.
Wizard of
when
Oz.
she stops doing evil stuff.
There's that animation lock really starting to screw you over now.
Yep.
So it's like the ending of this game is like the ending of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like, oh, Joker,
such a
the
graphic
sanity
thing.
was
Here
in
you go.
inside of you all along.
Yeah, there was a double combo there. They still have that in Origins.
Yeah.
Good to know. A double counter, I mean. The you know, the reason I don't, the reason I really can't forgive the animation lock problem is that, like, okay, the entire appeal of this goddamn combat system was the flow. It's in the name. It's like
No, he actually did do a Three Stooges there.
Yeah, I did it earlier.
it's in the name of the combat system, and they get it wrong. And they get it wrong by omitting a feature that was in 2 previous games.
Maybe they thought by a city it was
Too easy.
overpowered.
I
But this is also the same game that gives us the shot
doubt
clones.
it, because City wasn't exactly an easy game. It wasn't super hard on normal, but, you know, the fights kept you on your toes. So, like, I don't know.
I'm just lucky I finally took down the blade and the gun guy.
Yeah, because you're pretty much you're at low
I'm
health.
like one hit away from dead.
What does the green above your health bar mean?
That's experience.
Oh, okay. How do you refill health? Do you have?
Just finish an encounter.
Oh, okay. So you basically just have this much health for this fight. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
decent way to do it.
Good luck.
Threat extreme.
It is kind of wild, though, looking back at how well received and actually influential the Arkham games, or at least the early Arkham games, were. Because
I mean, so influential. Spider-Man basically copied it entirely.
Well, I mean, yes, that is true. But Batman: Arkham Asylum basically already is a Spider-Man game, with the spider sense and the being able to effectively swing around the city and the
Well, you don't swing, you glide.
you grappling hook onto a thing which drags you up and then you glide down. It's like 80% Spider-Man swinging. Also, like hanging from tall things to jump down.
it's a little funny to me that people just started to notice that Spider-Man was copying the Arkham games with the PS4 Spider-Man game, because I've played Amazing Spider-Man last gen, and they were already copying the Arkham games back then too. They just weren't doing it as
Except
good.
that
can't
game wasn't
speak
as good.
for-
Yeah.
I can't speak for the other ones though. I think Web of Shadows.
Oh,
or,
the linear
there's
ones
another
are
one.
different. The linear
Yeah.
stage-based ones had their own thing going on. It was a bit of a cheap, not very impressive thing, more of a weekend thrill kind of game than a really noteworthy one. But, you know, good in its way. The Amazing Spider-Man games were trying to be Spider-Man 2 with Arkham game mechanics. They just the parts and pieces didn't mesh as well together. Hey, you know, like Spider-Man Arkham Origins before Spider-Man Arkham City happened. But
But I like to think that it wasn't until the PS4 game where they were able to take what made Spider-Man Spider-Man and the best parts of Arkham and just blend it into a really good high-profile release.
Oh yeah, and they were they also had the benefit of establishing their own video game universe for the PS4 game, whereas the Amazing Spider-Man games were trying to be these sort of between movie tie-in games, and that means they.
Which was standard for licensed video
Yeah,
games at
yeah,
the time
but it
to
also
have
means that
tie-ins, so-
narratively they can't be too important, because
Right.
they have to work in between the actual important plots that happen in the movies.
In the Amazing Spider-Man 2 tie-in game, Peter Parker
It didn't mean.
dies. But by the movie,
It
he gets
did
better.
mean we got a little bit of time in game with Gwen Stacy being alive before dying, which is always interesting to see. And they actually did.
It's also like a weird sort of thing where a villain you get in a tie-in game pretty much confirms that they're not going to be in the movie. So I
Yeah.
hope you weren't expecting them to appear.
Yeah.
Until the people who are deciding who's going to be the main character in like
the
the
third
third
movie.
movie, they're like, "Oh yeah, let's have Sandman." But he was a minor boss character in the Amazing Spider-Man.
Who the fuck
1.
cares?
Retcon it. It didn't
No,
didn't
he
happen. Dagger of Time. Whoosh.
Oh, sorry, that was Sand-Man, my definitely different brother.
Now, I will be
Hit
honest.
your buddy.
I will be honest. In some of the Arkham games, read that as all of them. Sometimes Batman just completely tells the laws of
Zips.
physics to fuck off and zips across the room like the fucking Flash in order to perform some of his attacks.
Because I'm Batman? Question mark.
I mean, they do.
That makes
They
sense.
they do a relatively good job of giving him different animations to transition between different locations dynamically in combat, depending on where the enemies are and where the enemy he's currently targeting is. But sometimes it really doesn't make sense how he manages to close that distance. And
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a backward somersault and goes 50 feet across the room.
Yeah, there have been a few times where you're jumping from one enemy to the other enemy, and I'm like, okay, Batman, I'm pretty sure that was like a good 100 feet.
No, but you see it though. I mean, at the end of the day, whatever. It's a gameplay story segregation. It's whatever.
It's just
a
very
video game.
strange looking when it happens because
But-
the animation that plays is
but-
out of sync with the motion.
With a little visual flair, they could justify it. Like have like Batman strap like these like miniature rockets on his elbows and the bottom of his shoes, and they go off every time he jumps across the
So
room.
give him the rocket shoes from Game Gear Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay.
Yeah, but that's a really weird fucking.
Okay,
reach.
Ryan, you
Gotta
can't
think
tell me
more
that
of,
what Batman did just there wasn't a Spider-Man swing. Come on.
Well,
It's a grappling
it
hook.
wasn't. It was just kind of a basic swing, really.
Yeah, but that was the Spider-Man. He went thwip and went whoosh, and then he landed on the thing.
It's not like it's almost like flip. It's more like
To
a
be fair,
shot.
I think Batman was doing the grappling hook before Spider-Man existed, but I could be getting my chronology wrong there.
Well, Batman came out in like 1930.
39.
Yeah, and Spider-Man was like a good 20.
60s.
Yeah, so a good 20 to 30 years later. So I'm sure he had a
yeah.
grappling hook
So
before
Spider-Man
existed.
was doing the Batman swing.
yeah.
Oh,
Checkmate.
oh man.
Checkmate, Globeheads. But okay. The glide.
You're not.
Oh, did you have to jump on him
The
twice?
subtitle said "You're okay," and damn it, I thought that was someone asking if they were okay, and the damn it wasn't a response to getting
Okay,
stopped.
you see, Batman, he jumped on him with the grappling hook, and then he had to jump on him again. Like, okay, I had to really
yeah.
make sure.
Double tap.
Yeah, it's because like the finish off attack is its own thing. For all the effort they put into making combat flow, some of the stealth mechanics don't naturally flow into one another. So there are quite a few awkward pauses when you try certain unorthodox tactics.
Well, yeah, because stealth is primarily more gadget based than combat can be at times, and I'm okay with that.
Doink.
Yeah.
To me, it's not. I don't know. It's like even if the point of stealth is to quietly take down your enemies, it wouldn't make sense to me if you can combo stealth.
Yeah, at the
takedowns
same time,
together.
they could have implemented some animation connection between, say, the glide kick and the takedown you do after the glide kick puts the enemy on the ground. But Batman sort of has to straighten up and stand there for a nanosecond before he initiates.
Well, he falls a great height. He has
Before
to
he-
readjust. Vertigo is
before
very
he
real.
initiates a ground takedown when it's fully within Batman's physical capabilities to transition seamlessly between a glide kick and a ground takedown.
I feel like a lot of games with some stealth elements but don't want to be stealth games have that kind of problem. Because, like, oh, we're going to have multiple gameplay styles, meaning we're going to have 4 rooms in our game, which are easier to do stealth than combat, is where a lot of games do it.
That's what irked me the most about Spider-Man PS4, because the stealth was completely optional in that game.
Oh, yeah. The stealth in Spider-Man PS4 was not handled well at all. But, this game deserves more credit in that area than that, because the stealth mechanics are fairly fleshed out. They're just not technically as smooth, is the thing.
I'd argue about the stealth not being done well. Stealth was an option in Spider-Man 4, but I think it was intentional not to make it preferred. Otherwise, everyone would just be doing stealth. They didn't do
it well as a result. Because if you're saying you don't want to make it required, then we can't make it too good. In that case, we're just going to make you fight everyone anyway.
Yeah, but to me, it's like the Metal Gear Solid 4 thing. It's like by Metal Gear Solid 4, they wanted to make it just as much of an action game as a stealth game. And you can beat the game.
There's a difference between making it too good and making it mechanically smooth is the thing, and they didn't do either. They could have made the mechanics more in-depth, but given them disadvantages like taking more time, which is generally the disadvantage to stealth, really. And the reason this is important is because they have those sections with, like, Mary Jane and Miles Morales where you have to stealth.
I also feel like it depends on what kind of game you're going for, because I feel like Batman and Spider-Man's actually a good comparison here, because I feel like in character, Batman is much more likely to try to go for a stealth-based approach than an action-based one. So giving him more tools to make stealth possible, I think makes sense, whereas Spider-Man sometimes can be stealthy, but it's not like his MO.
Here's the thing.
Making a few options to at least like start off with stealth and then maybe the transition to pure combat would have been cool. I don't know.
Here's the thing.
I still haven't played the Spider-Man PS4 game because I'm waiting for it to.
Okay, here's what happens in like 90% of the stealth encounters in Spider-Man PS4. You go through the room of bad guys doing stealth and all that, and then a bunch of more bad guys come out and say, "Hey, everyone's been taken out," and then you just start fighting.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about Spider-Man PS4 stealth sections. It's like because what I was talking about earlier was in regards to just how like the stealth mechanics are handled, not so much the structure of it. Because I actually don't like that about the game itself. It's like even if you decide to go out in a stealth manner, after the first wave, it's just nope, you're in combat mode now. It's like, oh, what was the point of being stealthy?
But here's the other thing though, is that not doing the stealth well was kind of a missed opportunity for, ironically, giving the Spider-Man PS4 game an identity beyond ripping off a bunch of Arkham mechanics. Because Spider-Man as a stealth fighter has potential to be more of a prankster than Batman would be. You could get up to stealth hijinks instead of being a ninja assassin.
Yeah, you got like a little web upgrade that pants the enemies, so then you take them down while the pants are on their ankles.
You could do
hi Slade.
You could do some really fun things with Spider-Man in that context. And hey Slade.
Deathstroke, how do you see out of that other half of your mask?
He doesn't.
He doesn't. He's blind on that side.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like if
he only has the one good eye.
I'm pretty sure if you like.
It's like, damn it! I wasn't expecting an actual
Well,
answer.
when you see him in Injustice, he doesn't have his mask on and he's got an eye patch. Just reminding you. Oh.
Damn, I would say the biggest the thing that kind of pisses me off more about just the whole the DCU, just to bring that up again, is that we're likely never going to get the Batman Slade.
No, because the Matt Reeves movie is apparently going to be based on Long Halloween. Based on casting.
It's like because I think Deathstroke can make a really good villain, like in a Batman film.
Was he in Suicide Squad?
No.
Oh, that was Deadshot. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, that was Deadshot.
Yeah.
I mean, for what it's worth, like the DCEU has done a decent job turning itself around for the most part. Like I know Aquaman made money, so it has fans, I'm sure. Wonder Woman.
Aquaman is basically a very standard Marvel MCU movie.
Shazam
Yeah, but,
was like a massive apology for how grimdark the early movies were, and
And it's great. And
The
it's great
problem
because of
the problem is that I feel the damage has already been
Yeah.
done.
it. Which
because
is
now-
why they're going with the Matt Reeves thing.
Right. Because I can't stress enough time and time again, Shazam is a fantastic film.
But
It's just that by that point nobody cares.
Well,
Because
on,
of the
on
damage.
the bright side, they can just pretend Shazam's its own thing.
Right. Yeah, because it doesn't tie into anything with the DCU, and that was a smart move.
Yeah, so we're going to have Shazam 2 and Black Adam, so.
Right.
well, to be
Yeah.
fair, it's not like they can't recover from it, but they kind of screwed the pooch and missed their opportunity to have a proper build-up to an expanded universe by skipping the build-up and then implying that it happened off-screen, and then going
it
back
goes
and doing
to
the build-up.
yeah, it just goes to show how poorly handled Justice League and Batman v Superman really were. Because it's just, for one, like...
Well, I think Batman v Superman could have worked because it's not like you need a Batman movie to explain who he is or anything because
Oh,
everyone
yeah,
already knows
no,
that.
it's just...
Like that's a movie that you don't need much build up for. It's just that the movie itself is
Yeah,
not
but
very
it's also more the stuff where it's just like they did the world building really badly.
Yeah,
in that, where
they
it's just
they,
like, let's take 15 minutes to see what these characters who don't matter are up to.
they kind of got
know?
like really super ahead of themselves. Like they wanted to skip ahead to the good bits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is part of why the Marvel first phase worked was like, although not all of those movies were winners, it took its time. Is the big
Yeah,
thing.
you see, we would build up, but our Thor is electrocutioner, and Batman just knocked him down. We can't make a movie with him anymore.
Well,
Anyway, I've never really gotten Deathstroke as a character. Like, what makes him really like?
He's...
Because I liked him in the Teen Titans show, I should say that, but he's also, from what I've seen, a completely different character in the Teen Titans show than he ever was in any of the comics or any of the other
Yeah,
stuff.
basically.
yeah, and,
Where he was actually a really threatening, like, kind of mastermind kind of character who, once you actually tried to fight him, he was clearly just better than all five of them put together, you know? Whereas, from what I've seen here and from other stuff, Deathstroke is just like ninja.
I'm going to
He's...
basic. Slightly disagree on Teen Titans Slade in the sense that he's got screen presence, but I don't exactly see him as a good character.
Well, he was certainly threatening, is one of the big things.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of interesting tension with him and Robin
But,
as
like-
well.
but, like,
I mean, I haven't watched the show in a good 10 years or more, so I don't remember a lot of the details.
But,
I
like,
remember him being cool.
Within the context of the story, why did he want to destroy the Teen Titans? He
basically just wanted his own protege.
he's kind of
Which is
like
Robin.
he's kind of like why? That's what most of the time he just comes off as being an adversary because the series needed an adversary, and that's not as bad a problem with the storytelling in Teen Titans as it would be in something like Batman the Animated Series, because the tone is all tongue-in-cheek and stuff. But
Sometimes, depending on the episode.
Yeah.
well,
That's probably the biggest problem with Teen Titans is that they don't know how to transition from goofy episode to serious episode.
Well, yeah.
A lot of the time.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but you know, I just wish that there was more to him in the other stuff that I've seen, because like here, he just shows up and is like, he does a lot of attacks, but it doesn't seem like there's anything more to him than that. You know, it kind of feels like he's all talk to me here.
I mean, that's kind of the problem with this game in general, with its villains. Slade in other media in the comics is basically world's best assassin / sometimes morally ambiguous depending on the situation.
Man, we know Penguin's living on the edge because he walked off slapping his secretary's ass like frickin' Dante at the end of DMC. But like, what exactly happened with Deathstroke here? Where did he come from? Is he just
He was one of the 8 assassins.
is he just gone from the story now?
Yeah.
Oh.
We beat him.
Yeah.
Beat him up.
Okay.
Which is disappointing because, again, he was one of the most highly publicized things about the game. It's like, you get to fight Deathstroke. He's probably...
Yeah, pre-order the game. You get to play as Deathstroke.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it was
In one of the challenge in one of the challenge packs.
Is he good to play as?
I mean, it's basically did you like Nightwing? You know, well, no, I guess he would technically.
Not as fun as playing as the Joker in the
before now.
PS3 version of Arkham Asylum, though.
I don't think you're missing much of that.
Hey,
it was a neat idea.
Yeah,
Joker's
neat idea.
moveset was hilarious, though.
You had the gun with the one bullet in it. Are you a ventriloquist? No, wait, that's another villain.
You can take that out, a clip out of context, and holy shit, this greeting card sucks.
Is that the end of Penguin's involvement in the story?
Yep.
Oh.